You may have seen us use range when we've used for loops. In this video, we're going to explain the range function. The most common use of range is in a for loop. So here we've got a for loop for I in range 4 and then print I. So we can see what numbers are in the range. Prior to that, we've just created nums which equals the range 4, and we're going to print that type, and you can see that it prints type class range. In our for loop it prints 0, 1, 2, 3. So the important thing here is it prints 4 numbers as we expected, but it doesn't print 1 to 4, it prints 0 to 3. If we change that to range 10, then it will print 0 to 9. Change it to range 5, 0 to 4. So that's range. Now what happens if we wanted to start at 1 and go to 5? Well, we can start by entering the number 1 in range. So if we have 2 numbers in the brackets in range, the first one is where we want to start and the second one is the number after where we want to finish. So if we want to go to 1 to 5, we need range 1 to 6. So we can run that and you can see we've got 1 to 5. If we wanted 1 to 10, we would put in range 1 to 11. So that's numbers 1 to 10 printed. Now finally we do see 3 numbers in brackets with range. Now if we put in 2, so we have range 1, 11, 2, then we run that, you'll see we've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So the 2, you can see it's jumped 2 from 1 to 3, 3 to 5. If we put 3 in, or step 3, when we run it, it steps 3 or jumps 3, so it goes from 1 to 4 to 7 to 10. So if we've got one number, that's the number where we finish. If we've got 2 numbers, then the first number is where we start and the second number is where we finish. And if we've got 3 numbers, the first number is where we start, the second finish, and the third number is step. We can also use negative numbers. So for example, we could go from -4 to 0. So here we've got -4, -3, -2, -1. And we can also go backwards. So if we start at 10, go to 1, and we're going to step -1, when we run that, you can see we've gone from 10 down to the number before 1. So then 10 down to 2. If we wanted to go from 10 to 1, we could change that to 0, and now we've got 10 down to 1. Now what happens if we want to go through a list? Well, we can use the length of the list inside range. So let's create a list, simple list, and we want to use for loop, and we want to use the length of the list. So the length can change and we can still iterate through that list using range. So if we print I, it's going to be the number. If we want to see what's in the list, we can put my list and then use I as the index to find the value. So if we run that, you can see we've got 0, 1, 2, 3 is I, and the value is 10, 20, 30, 40. So if we was to change the list and then run that, it would continue to loop through the whole list because it's using the length. If we just want the values, we could just print my list with I in brackets. So here we have 10 to 60. Finally, we can use the index of a range, which is a bit strange, but let's have a look. we have place equals, let's say range, let's say 2 to 10. And now if we print I in place and just print I in a for loop, we can see we've got 2 to 9. Now if we was to make place equal range 0 in brackets, so that's going to be the first place, and print place, so remove the for loop, we can see the answer is 2. So the first value in the 0 index place was 2. So if we was to do the second place or the third place, the index number 2, we'd look at 4, and the final one would be -1. So let's run that, and that comes to 9, because 9 is the final value in that range. Time for some practice exercises. Exercise 1. Print numbers from 0 to 99. Exercise 2. Print numbers from 1 to 100. Exercise 3. Print even numbers from 2 to 100. Exercise 4. Print even numbers from 100 down to 2. And final exercise 5. Create a string of your name and print each character using range. Okay, let's have a look at the solutions. We start off with exercise 1, where we look at printing numbers 0 to 99, which is straightforward for loop with range with 100 in the brackets. So we can see here it's going to print from 0 down to 99. Exercise 2, print from 1 to 100. So we can add the 1 to start, and to get up to 100 we put 101 in. So we run that, it goes up to 100 and started at 1. Now if we want to go from 2 to 100 and even numbers, we need to do step 2. So we can print this, and you can see all the even numbers going from 2 up to 100. Now if you want to go to 100 to 2, we're going to start at 100, you're going to go down to 1, which won't include 1, but we're going to go to step -2. So we're going to go down from 100 to 2 in the even numbers. So let's run that. So you can see we finished at 2, we started at 100. So start 100, finish the last number 1, you finish at 2, and step -2. And the last one we had put your name in a string. So let's imagine our name, well, we can put just Dr Codie for example, and now we assume we don't know the length of the name, so we can just use length of name. So here's simple for loop with range, and use the length of the name. Now if you want to print the name, the letters, we need to use I as the index rather than printing I. So now if we print that, we can see we have DR space CODIE. There we go, that was exercise 5. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and click that bell and get notified when the new videos get released. And please click like as well.